In this video, I'm going to share 15 simple tips to save money. I have gathered these tips from my German friends and colleagues, and I think all of them are pretty simple to get started with. Tip number one is using a Haushaltsbuch or a budget planner. Here you can use many digital apps, but a majority of Germans prefer to go analog and have a physical book. In this book, you can start by writing about your income, your wage, child benefit, unemployment benefit, etc. Any income that you get on a regular basis. Christmas bonus or any other monetary gifts should not be included here. Then write down all of the expenses like your rent, energy costs, all of the fixed bills. Now subtract your regular expenses from your income, and the remaining amount is where you can optimize your spending and save more using the next tips. So tip number two is using cash for payments. More than 60% of all transactions in Germany are still done using cash, and a majority never uses a credit card or a debit card as a payment. As an expat, I never understood why Germans preferred cash over card, but there is actually some science behind it. According to studies, using cash for payments enhances the negative effect of parting with money, and that cash payment could represent a strong self-regulating tool for those having issues with compulsive shopping or digital gambling. So if you find yourself just using your debit card or credit card, try switching to cash and see the results for yourself. This leads to tip number three, which is avoid going shopping as a hobby. In Germany, people have a habit of going for shopping specifically on Saturdays. For many, this becomes a ritual and they often buy unnecessary things as this becomes a habit for them. Here, you need to think about the things that you want to buy beforehand and create a list. Stick to the list if you're going out. If possible, try not to allot a specific day for shopping. And tip number four is avoiding impulse buying. Most of us have a habit of impulse buying, usually when we are bored. This thing happens especially to the people who follow deals websites. I remember I used to spend at least 5 minutes in the morning looking for deals on an app called My Deals. Then I regularly visited the deal section on Amazon and eBay to get special discounts. And because of this habit, I bought many things at a discount. But at the end of the day, if I buy something for 200 euros at a 50% discount, but I never use that thing, have I actually saved 200 euros on the discount or just wasted this amount buying something totally useless? As a result, I have uninstalled all discount apps. Research shows that the brain releases dopamine in anticipation of a reward. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a role in how we feel pleasure. And online shopping creates the anticipation, releasing more dopamine because the buyer has to wait for the purchase. But as time goes on, the amount of dopamine being released decreases. In the case of buying something online, the amount of dopamine being released becomes negligible when you have received the order. So the anticipation phase is actually where you get the most amount of dopamine, hence more satisfaction. So I have set a waiting limit of at least 2 weeks to buy something which is not absolutely essential. Tip number 5 is saving money on food. Many of us prefer eating out, and it's all good until at the end of the month we see our bank statement. Cooking for yourself is healthier and saves money too. If you don't have time to prepare meals every day, you can look into meal prep, where you either make meals for the rest of the week or prepare half-cooked meals that you can easily make within a couple of minutes. The bottom line with meal prepping is that you can save major time, stress, calories, and most importantly, in many cases, some money as well. And if you want to eat out, you can set a specific monthly budget for yourself. Only spend your budget amount on eating out, and if the budget is finished, that's it for eating out for this month. Tip number 6 is staying away from 0% financing. If you cannot afford something, I would say stay away from it. We often stay away from the things that are out of our budget, but as soon as we see that 0% financing on it, we try to justify that purchase with the fact that dividing the payment and getting a better product, even if it is out of our budget, is worth it. I assure you, in 90% of the cases, the extra bells and whistles you got for the additional 1000 euros will not be useful for you at all. If you're liking the money saving tips, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button. Tip number 7 is file your tax returns. In Germany, you can get back an average of about 1000 euros from the government if you file your tax return. And if you have more expenses, you can get even more. For example, you can get back the travel costs to your work, any expense that you had that was related to your work, and much more if you submit your taxes. I have a step-by-step guide here which you can follow and submit a tax return with ease. Tip number 8 is saving money on subscriptions and memberships. Most Germans do not have subscriptions for streaming platforms. Many only have either Amazon Prime or Netflix. That said, a majority still prefer to buy DVDs and box sets for series, as many of us usually end up rewatching the same series over and over again. Honestly speaking, YouTube has such a variety of free content that it might be enough for many of us. You could also save up on your gym membership. I know so many people who have a gym membership and they only go once or twice a month. If you are one of those people, you just need a pair of dumbbells, learn to get a full body workout at home, and save up on that membership fee. Tip number 9 is using a bike instead of a car. If you live in a big city, chances are that you are spending a lot of time in traffic jam or searching for a place to park your car. With having a car, you pay so much in fuel costs, and these days fuel is getting more and more expensive each day. On top of that, you have to pay car insurance, repair costs, and much more. So using a bike instead of a car can not only help you save money, but it's a great way to burn calories and remain healthy. If you can't travel using a bike, larger cities generally have really good connections to public transport, which are still cheaper than using a car. And if you really need a car, you can use car sharing or rent a car if you want to carry heavy stuff. Per kilometer, the cost would definitely be higher, but looking at the overall costs, you can still end up saving more money. Tip number 10 is contract comparison. Even if you try to stay away from contracts, chances are that you may need to sign up for a couple nonetheless. For example, with your electricity provider, internet, and mobile phone contracts. But if you compare your contract with other providers, chances are that you can get a better deal. In many cases, you can even get a good deal from your current provider. For example, my internet contract was about to end and I reached out to my provider and renegotiated a contract that is 10% less than my current one. Tip number 11 is going on regional holidays. Instead of planning for your next trip to Paris, you can plan a regional holiday trip and save the difference. Many people don't even know about the interesting things within their own city. For example, one of the most visited sites in Germany is the Cologne Cathedral. But what a lot of visitors to Cologne don't realize is right underneath are ancient Roman ruins from the end of the 1st century AD. So try to find hidden gems in your own city or places nearby instead of visiting places which are usually crowded with tourists. Tip number 12 is renting instead of buying. Often we need things for a very limited time, but we end up buying them. And after using that thing once, we just forget that we had it. For example, if you're going on a trip and want to take pictures on your DSLR camera, but instead of the kit lens, you want to have a telephoto lens. Instead of buying it, why not try renting it? And if you really like the result and want to continue taking photos, then you can always buy it later on. But trust me, most of us just want to get the dopamine hit, which leads us to tip number 13, and that is sell your extra stuff. As I said, people buy stuff that usually ends up in a storage closet somewhere in their house. So instead of it utilizing space in your home, try to sell it and get some extra cash. To evaluate what you can sell, I recommend that you spend some time thinking that you are shifting houses. Generally, when we are moving, we only take things that are useful to us and either donate, sell, or throw away the things that we cannot carry with us to the new place. Having a mindset like that could help you find many things that are just wasting space and gathering dust in your home. Trust me, you can find a lot of stuff that you can sell on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. Tip number 14 is fix before buying. If something stops working, instead of ordering a new one, try to get it repaired. I'm sure you know how to fix many things, or at least have friends that know how to fix those things. So if you can't fix something, invite a friend who can fix it to dinner. You can get that thing fixed and have a nice time with your friend as well. If it's not fixable, then you can always have it replaced, but at least now you have tried and done your part. So tip number 15 is not fixing your bad money habits. Most of us have bad money habits that keep us poor. For example, having people in your life that influence you to take bad financial decisions can cause you to remain poor for the rest of your life. In this video, I share 5 bad money habits that are keeping you poor. So thanks for watching, bleib gesund, and I'll see you in this video.